sommes donc toujours en direct depuis le pavillon Côte d'Azur France TERRE DIA à l'occasion du World AI Cannes Festival et on va parler de l'IA et du management avec Simone Vannuccini qui est cher professeur junior en économie de l'IA et de l'innovation à l'université de la Côte d'Azur. Ciao Simone.
Buongiorno, ciao.
Alors nous n'allons pas parler de manager des équipes avec de l'IA, le sujet est un peu différent. Comment est-ce qu'un manager peut intégrer de l'IA dans ses process auprès de son équipe, auprès d'une équipe qui ne serait pas habituée, qui ne connaîtrait pas les possibilités de l'IA?
Merci beaucoup. Malheureusement, je dois parler en anglais, so sorry that my responses are going to be in English, but thanks a lot for the question and for having me here. So I'm an economist and a scholar of management, so I usually study how AI is introduced inside the business processes, which are the opportunities and the challenges of introducing AI, but also where companies can extract or generate value out of the introduction of AI. So coming to your question, we are now facing, not only for high technology firms, but also for firms generally in the economy, with the challenge of in which ways we introduce artificial intelligence inside our processes. And the first thing to reflect here is a little bit critical. I know that here we are in a forum dedicated to artificial intelligence, but the first question that companies need to answer is, do we really need artificial intelligence? So not everything. So we need to go beyond the hype that everything is artificial intelligence and rather understanding where we can have very smart, useful, effective application of that. This entails understanding the technology. This entails also training the workers inside the companies on what could be the useful applications. And also, going back to the understanding of the technology, we need to see which type of processes are prone to be put under the, let's say, algorithmic transformation. So if we think about services, for example, so you were giving me the example before of how inside a company that provides services, it could be a radio, or it could be white-collar work if you want, so content generation. Then we need to, let's say, understand the use cases of AI. For example, AI can summarize content. Now generative AI models can summarize content, can help the diffusion of this content, can generate pictures or can generate some content and so on and so forth. What is important here is to define the boundaries of where these, especially generative systems, create content and where the human intervention still stands. So for a radio or for a university, so for the creation of a university course or for a creative economy company, we cannot transform all of our processes into AI-driven processes. However, we can use AI as a tool to become either more productive, to expand the set of things that we can explore. So if you want, in a very scientific way, we can expand the knowledge space we can fish from. So imagine in a completely different field, where AI is very useful, is the scientific field. So you might have discussed before, or you're going to discuss that in the finding new proteins or synthesizing new medicines, AI is very useful because that becomes a tool that guides us, that pilot us, a co-pilot in the search. The same could be in many other processes where we can use a co-pilot. Not in all the processes though. If we talk about manufacturing firms and production of real goods or commodities, that's a different story. And that has to do more with robotics, with flexible introduction of machinery. That's a different thing, and we need to be aware of these differences.
Alors dans les entreprises qui ne font pas partie de la haute technologie, c'est plus difficile d'adopter de l'IA. Quelles sont les causes, quelles sont les difficultés pour ces entreprises?
So indeed, that's a very good question. So it's the determinants of adoption of AI, so what makes a company to adopt AI are very different. So once again, as an economist, the very first step is to go beyond the hype that say, yes, AI here, AI there, AI here, AI there. There is always a cost effectiveness. So are the solutions that exist in the market, or are the solutions that we can create worth the candle, if you want? So is the cost comparing the benefit? And how do we estimate the benefit of adopting AI? Once again, if you can use AI for translation, generating content, translating social media posts into content for an article in Radio Monaco, then maybe this is a benefit, but we need to estimate the economic value of this benefit to see if it is worth. Exactly as when we adopt any other technology. And I would claim that in many cases, the cost nowadays is still higher than the benefit. So not everywhere there is a use case to adopt AI. So what I want to do is a sort of a operation truth, like not everywhere you can adopt it. But, for example, when we discuss about advanced technologies not at the company level, but at the regional or the country level, there is a useful concept which is called the smart specialization concept. So the idea that you should, as a company or a region, specialize in your point of strength, but in a smart way. So you should do a horizon scanning and see how can I implement some AI technology that boosts the domains in which I'm already capable. So content generation, or predictions of medicine or protein once again, or delivery of content in different platforms. This is something that companies should really do, and if they don't do that, could be a backdrop to the adoption of artificial intelligence.
Alors on parle beaucoup d'IA, c'est même à la mode maintenant, on en parle beaucoup dans les médias, donc beaucoup de solutions numériques sont rebaptisées IA pour avoir des investissements, des talents, des clients. Est-ce que c'est une bonne stratégie à long terme pour les entreprises et notamment ici sur la Côte d'Azur?
So we need to distinguish here between the companies or the actors that adopt and use AI and the companies that produce AI. So here there are a lot of AI producers, so companies that develop AI products. And there, of course, it makes sense for them to sell the solutions as AI solutions, because it's not fashionable to say, we have an old algorithm, etc. However, for the users, it's important to distinguish whether what you buy is really artificial intelligence or not, whether the models or the products or the services are really new. And you know, in the field of AI, there is unfortunately a way of saying, or a strategy that is dominant, which is the so-called fake it until you make it. So a lot of AI companies, they are not AI companies. They just have humans on the background that, I don't know, respond to the chatbot or label the data, tag the information. And this is done until you collect the data. So you fake it until you make it. And if I am a user, I want to understand which are the real valuable solution and which are not, especially if I'm not a high-tech user. So the strategy here is, once again, to skim the cream of hype and to drink the really warm milk of real AI. Not every companies are real AI companies, and you need to be aware of that.
Quelles sont les prochaines tendances, les prochaines évolutions? Est-ce qu'on va voir émerger des activités basées sur l'IA dans le cloud, des services dans le cloud, ou un avenir avec des appareils qui intégreront de l'IA et qui remplaceront les interfaces utilisateurs et peut-être même les smartphones?
So merci beaucoup. So this is a very interesting question, because from an economic and management viewpoint, the idea here is to find where value in the, if you want to say, the supply chain of AI, so from the data to the computing power to the models to the final applications, can be generated. And here there are different scenarios, because until now we have been thinking, so there is a quote from one of the AI founders that says that we passed through the deep learning phase, and then we went through the generative AI phase, and then now we are moving toward the interactive AI phase. So the phase in which AI is used as a mediator of our interactions. Chatbots, but also robotic process automation inside companies, and so on and so forth. And these somehow suggests that we see a pervasive diffusion of artificial intelligence in many areas of business applications. And this can be still areas in which the dominant value is generated by the cloud providers. So we will continue to see, for example, new services that you can pay for uploading your company data on the cloud and having automated data processing through AI, the so-called AI as a service kind of tendency. The more cloud computing is powerful, the more it's concentrated in a few actors, the more this happens. But we are also seeing more and more the embodiment of AI models into hardware. So one is the smartphone. So the more we have smaller model, more efficient models like ChatGPT, but let's say more portable model, the more we are going to see them as, let's say, applications inside the phones. And this changes who can profit from that. Maybe the companies that sell devices rather than those that sell cloud. And who wins here is not sure yet. The other big trend at work that you might have seen here already are those that are called the vision, language, and action models. So the AI implemented inside the robots, meaning you have these complex systems emerging that connect the hardware and the AI software. And this is another thread where value can be generated. So we are going to have, for example, robots on the manufacturing shop floor that are moving and acting in a more flexible way because they're commanded by language models. This is a bit yet sci-fi, but the idea is that this might lead to reorganization of the shop floor, reorganization of the company's organization, and changing in business model for those who sell AI. Am I going to make money because I sell a device with an AI app inside that mediates my interaction with others? Or I'm still making money because I'm producing my AI model that then is run on the cloud? These has important effects because tell us who is winning the race for AI. In many industries, from cars to lasers to, I don't know, boats, what we see is that an industry starts with a lot of companies. As I said already in other talks, the US automotive industry in the 1920s, it has 400 producers. Now there are 6 producers. Is the same going to happen also with AI? So that we now have, I don't know, Mistral, and we have OpenAI, and we have 1 million of models done by different companies that rely on different subset of technologies. Are we going to see the concentration or what is called the ossification of the AI industry around few actors? And if yes, from the economic viewpoint, this become an oligopoly. And as we know, oligopolies and monopolies, they're not good for consumers. And therefore, we need to take that into account because the welfare of us consumers is at stake in this transformation of the industry.
Merci beaucoup, Simone, d'avoir introduit cette notion d'IA et de management. On va se retrouver avec de nouveaux Aitalks. Tout à l'heure, on va parler de l'IA et de santé, toujours sur le pavillon Côte d'Azur France, Terre d'IA.